Kevin Merritt, and 2 years later in 2014 he purchased the company from the Curtis brothers, and he has been hard to keep up with. Things changed real quickly. We grew substantially. We now have 4 locations in Roseville, the original, Saginaw, Michigan, Gaylord, Michigan, and now Livonia, Michigan. The office in Livonia is our centrifugal division, and that's a whole new world. More thoroughness is just really important nowadays. And that's, in my opinion, what put Metro Air very quickly to the top of the list in Southeast Michigan. And they actually surpassed some very well-established old companies and just took right off. Business are more hands-on. They can learn by doing, as opposed to there's people that can read something in a book and do it. I'm not that lucky. I find that over the years training young people that the ones who are most successful that can do both, and there are people like that, but the ones that do a really good job and are successful more are the ones that learn by taking things apart and putting them back together. So that's a little bit about me. I just started refrigeration. Refrigeration classes made me understand what I had been doing right along. Air compressor, I don't care what gas you're compressing. Atmosphere, natural gas, you can be compressing, what do we got, 410, 404, 7, my days are 12, 22, 11s. I don't care what gas it is, helium, nitrogen, they all follow the same physics, the same rules, the same thermodynamics, and just different values. And when you're going to hear me say this a lot, if you walk away from nothing more from today with the idea that I need to know these laws, these physics, more importantly, I need to be able to apply them. And I need to know the concepts. And yeah, you need to know, Boyle's law is this, or Charles' law, or whatever it happens to be. You got to do that because that's the only way to test whether you're paying attention or not. But how we use refrigeration is the same as a room air conditioner. We're just dehydrating. Part of it is we're dehydrating the air, except we make a lot of air changes really fast, and it's a little room. That's the only difference between us and HVA or air conditioning. But we don't like to tell HVAC guys that because then they get all, oh, I can do that. It's kind of a broad brush. We do all kinds of gas compressions. Nitrogen generation, helium generation, oxygen generation is part of our business. A few miles over there is Exalta plant. There's a 400 horsepower air compressor driving a nitrogen generation plant, 24/7. The only time they shut it off is maintenance. The alternative is to haul nitrogen up from Sydney, Ohio. So it was worth putting the system in. You might get in, you might say, it's HVAC, that isn't whatever. Maybe you want to get into commercial refrigeration. That's a good job. But we'd like to see some of you get into compressor industry. Assembly systems, we do that a lot around here. We have we're still pretty much dominated by the automotive industry here, and that shows. A lot of assembly facilities around here, something happens to them and they say, okay, I memorize it, and then they walk out and say, oh, it's this, it's that. And we call them guessers. It's something that works, but only to a point, because you're always going to find a job that just breaks the rules. One of the things that I absolutely, should I say that word? I despise about the 400 series blends is they kind of break the rules. They don't break them, but they change them. So you have 3 gases that are combined to make this refrigerant. And again, I couldn't tell you what they are off the top of my head. I just know they're there. And if you have a leak in a 400 system, you're going to leak one component at a time. And as those components come out of balance, things change. The symptoms are going to change a little. They're not going to have the same symptoms. R22 was simple. It was a compound, but it was only one refrigerant. So now you're taking 3 compounds and mixing them into one refrigerant. And it makes life a little more difficult. Another thing that I always say, you're working with the 400 series, especially that wonderful 410. Be very, very careful. That is a high pressure. All these gases run a little bit higher pressure, and that 410 is very high pressure. First law, I don't really want to get into it too much with you, because it is what it is. It says what it says, and that's energy cannot be created or destroyed. So we can change it. We can make it heat. We can make it pneumatic. We can make it hydraulic. So what does an air compressor do? It takes electrical power, usually, in different ways, but we'll just talk about electric. And takes, by using Boyle's law, makes pneumatic energy. So I made a box that contains 17 cubic feet. In order to get 100 PSI, I squish it down to 1 cubic foot. That is a concept that people struggle with. If I close the doors and the windows and I put a 10 horsepower compressor in here, how long do you think it'd be before we don't have that much air left in here? If we were sealed off. Also, will become helpful in other trades. Maybe you say, I don't want to be a refrigerant technician. Maybe I want to be an electrical guy. Maybe I want to pull wire. Maybe I want to do electrical troubleshooting. Pipe fitters. About 15 years ago, corporate America and a lot of business owners says, we don't need skilled tradesmen. They're too expensive. We need people who just can do general maintenance. Be a large-scale growth in the skilled trades, whether it be refrigeration, heating, ventilation, whatever it is, especially in electrical, especially commercial refrigeration in our field, even natural gas field. It's just going to grow. It has to grow. There's just not people there. They're retiring. They're done. And it's kind of like I thought, because we weren't prepared for it. So that being the case, I want to tell you a few things. I have trained a lot of young people, especially lately. Good work ethics. You gotta have them, guys. You gotta be the guy that's there 5 minutes early, got your uniform on, ready to go. Maybe you see a piece of paper on the floor, you pick it up, throw it in the trash. It gets noticed. I notice it. The owner of my company notices it. Makes a big difference. We hired a general laborer, and everybody's going, "Holy cow! Look at that guy go, man!" I think you guys are walking into a time when skilled trades is going to explode. I see the trades as a rebirth. They're coming back. They're